ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। So Sri Krishna is unfolding the intelligent way of life, otherwise called Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga, from verses 39 to 53 in this chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga of the Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna says, what is the right attitude we must have and what is the right action? So let me tell you again about the actions that are enjoined by the Veda Mata, Shruti. Most of you are already familiar, but let's take a brief look. So the Shruti or the Vedas talk about 4 kinds of actions for any human being. First one is Nitya Karmas. Nitya Karmas are mandatory daily karmas, the duties and our responsibilities, the role playing. And along with that also comes the Pancha Mahayajnas, the daily pujas that we do, like Sandhya, all, and even Swadhyaya. Daily Swadhyaya or Shravanam is a must. This is Nitya Karmas. And as I said before, what is to be done by me in which ashrama, in which varna was very clearly defined in the varnashrama system. Today it is in any situation, what is destined, what is it that I have to do? And that is the role in a certain priority. What are my priorities? And the roles will come under Nitya Karmas. Then the second action is Naimittika Karmas. Naimittika means there is a nimitta, like tomorrow is Mahashivaratri. It doesn't happen every day, once a year. So we have a certain protocol how to observe Mahashivaratri. This is called Naimittika Karmas. Like Shraddha Tarpana, we also do for our departed ancestors once or twice a year. That would also be a Naimittika Karmas. Then the third action is Kamya Karmas. I have a desire to build my dream house. I have a desire to travel or to start some business venture. These are called Kamya Karmas. These are not mandatory, but they are optional. But the Veda says, go ahead. If you have desires, follow them, pursue them, fulfill them as per Dharma. Kamya Karmas. Then the last and the fourth are the Prayaschitta Karmas. Now, Prayaschitta means atonement karmas, purifying karmas. Now, if at some point, I feel I have gone against dharma, done something that was not to be done, then the Vedas enjoin these atonement karmas, like going on a pilgrimage. Why do we do that? Mainly for purifying. It's a very purifying, ritual, or fasting, or doing japam, or annadanam, all these. So these 4 kinds of karmas are mentioned in the Vedas. Nitya karmas, Naimittika, Kamya karmas, and Prayaschitta karmas. Now, karma itself is a huge topic. And there are so many nuances that Krishna devotes 3 chapters, 2, 3, 4, 5, just to karma, the topic. But for us, is interesting to see what happens when I perform a karma. Now, this karma does not mean going to office, or drinking, sipping a cup of tea, not those karmas. This is a well deliberated action that I undertake in life. Hmm? They will fall under these four categories. So, what does the law of karma do? The law of karma will take into account how was this karma performed. Was it as per dharma, punya karma? Then it will give a favorable result, punyam, and punyam will translate into a favorable result in life and here or hereafter in some Svargaloka. But if the karmas went against dharma, yeah, against the Vedas, then there is papa karma phalam, and papa will translate into some future suffering here or hereafter. So we can clearly see in our life, it is unfolding papa, punyam situations in our life, which are all the karma phalam due to our previous actions. Yeah. Those actions which are bearing fruit in this janma is called prarabdha karma. And so the Sanchita infinite store, out of that one chunk is allocated for this birth. No? But as we are experiencing the prarabdha karma, what can happen? We are adding fresh karma. Yeah. And again, the fresh karma, goes back and joins the Sanchita store. So all this accumulated papa, punyam, karma, can it be exhausted in one birth? Impossible, right? And so the Shastras say that this is why punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, and we exhaust. Yeah. So now we are all experiencing our karma phalam. And look, take the case of Arjuna. Arjuna is also facing his own karma phalam in the form of having to face the Dharma Yuddha war on Kurukshetra. But he is not able to receive and experience the karma phalam graciously as prasada. And he has entered into a conflict and surrendered. And now Krishna is going to explain how to handle a karmic situation so that it will not further bind us. It will rather release us from this bondage of karma. And that is the current topic, that is karma yoga or buddhi yoga. So Krishna has said in 38th verse, Sukha dukhe samikritva labha labhao jaya jayao. Tato yuddha yujjasva naivam papam avapsyasi. So Krishna says, practice buddhi yoga. Buddhi yoga is, we have seen, the yoga of attitude. We do not give up karma, but we give up the desire for the phalam. So what is it that really binds me? Is it not karma phalam, that I have to go through certain karmic situation life after life? This is the bondage that we are fearing and that we are suffering from. But if the karma continues but without the desire for karma phalam, then it is not going to bind me anymore. So Krishna is saying that Arjuna, you do not think of the consequences of the war. You focus on the process. Yeah. You are well prepared for battle. You're a great warrior. Now focus on your dharma, what is to be done. So this cognitive shift of acting in the present, doing what is to be done as a prayer, as an offering, as a yajna, and detached from the consequences. Does not mean the phalam will not come. It will come in the future, but I'm not concerned and anxious about the phalam. So basically, karma yoga is about these two principles, Ishwararpanam and Prasada Buddhi. Yeah. So when it comes to action, I offer it to Ishvara, doing Krishnarpanam, and when the action is done and the results come back, yeah, then I receive it as Prasadam. Now, this is what we see in nature, is it not? You see the whole nature, how beautifully it is obeying the cosmic order. Surya Devata, does he ever take a break and says on Sunday, I want to, rise 1 hour later? No. And the Vayu Devata will not say, I don't want to enter this person's lungs because I don't like, no ragadveshas, no? And so there are these beautiful shlokas which we teach children. vrikshaha swayam atape tishtanti, swayam phalam phalani na khadanti, nadyaha swayam apaha na pibanti. Rivers don't drink their own waters. Trees stand in the heat, but offer shade and flowers and fruits. So they are all excellent karma yogis whose actions are smoothly and harmoniously going as though they are obeying a higher order. So Krishna says, Hey Savyasachin Nimittamatram Bhava. You also, Arjuna, be an instrument in the hands of the divine because all the results are being shaped by Ishvara. You are not the author of the results anyway. So do not worry about the consequences. Do what is to be done. Prepare for battle. Yeah. All this is said. So this is what Swamiji often used to say, Puja Swamiji, let us become contributors, yeah, in the universal scheme of things and not just a consumer. As babies, we're all born as consumers. We consume so much. We are dependent on others. But as we grow, we learn to give more than what one takes. Yeah. So that makes me a very sensitive, a generous one with an expanded heart. Yeah. And that is the heart of Karma Yoga. Then, if the question is asked, what is the benefit of Karma Yoga? How will it benefit me? Krishna has talked about it. Na iha abhikramanashaha asti. If ordinary karmas, you see how it is fraught with difficulties. Yeah, if I go for a surgery in the hospital, yeah, the best doctor, best hospital, but is it guaranteed that the surgery will go well? There is always a chance that something may go wrong. That's why we are always constantly prayerful when we step into a flight or a train. Yeah. So when I eat or drink food, who is making it go into the food pipe and not the windpipe? And once the food is taken in, it has to be digested and then eliminated. So all this implies that who is the author of the results? It is none other than Ishvaraha. If I drop anything, the law of gravity takes over. But who created the law of gravity? Ishvara. So there is a law of dharma, law of karma, and there is a universal order, and that is Ishvara, who is often called karma phala data, the dispenser or the giver of karma phala. So karma yoga is all about being active in the world and yet inwards one is detached. So Krishna has said, you will not suffer from a sin of neglect of duty. Pratyavaya na vidyate. And there is no failure. Now, a karma yogi, he will always have inward progress. Yeah. Because there will always be freedom from disappointment, frustration, tension, and stress. So there is inward peace, there is stability, and there is a calmness. So Puja Swamiji would say, who is really successful? The successful person is the one who can face both success and failure. So there is no failure for a karma yogi. There is only success. Because of this reason, Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even when one has begun to renounce the desire for phalam little by little, as a beginner, we will notice the big shift inside. Yeah, because now the route is clear. The karma yogi is a mumukshu, is on the Shreyo Margaha and enjoys eka vyavasayatmika nischayatmika buddhi. Very important word. Krishna says that buddhi means what? I'm clear of the goal. The goal is moksha and I want freedom. What is the means? Karma yoga. Yeah? So there is no loss. Although externally in the world, there may be a loss. Business may not do well. Family challenges are there. I may not clear the interview. The visa has not got cleared. But inwards, if I have practiced buddhi yoga, one is always successful and peaceful inside. So So that is the great fear is not there, fear of samsara. And then the benefit is, of course, why are we studying all this? Because Karma Yoga is the indirect means to moksha. Karma Yoga purifies my mind of the Raga Dvesha. Raga Dvesha are the twin currents which make my mind turbulent. I like this, I want to do this. I don't like this, I don't want to do that. So the mind is controlled by Raga Dvesha, who are keeping my mind hostage. But if I like what I have to do and I dislike what should not be done, that's the best situation. Yeah, that's a win-win situation, which does not generally happen. So I have to like what is to be done. So when the mind is purified, then the mind enjoys Chitta Shuddhi. Chitta Shuddhi means pure, steady mind. And Krishna says, and such a mind will easily and quickly enjoy the vision of the Gita. So what is the route now? From just karma, which is binding, sakama karma, we convert it to nishkama karma yoga, through karma yoga. Nishkama karma yoga is detaching from the fruit, the results. And nishkama karma yoga will take me to akama stage, freedom from all the karmas. And that is jnana prapti. So karma yoga will give me chitta shuddhi. Chitta shuddhi will prepare the mind, give me adhikaritam, eligibility to understand sankhya or this atma jnanam, which already Krishna has unfolded earlier. And jnanameva mokshaha. So jnanam, atma jnanam is what? Direct means to moksha, and karma yoga is the indirect means to moksha, preparing the mind. Yeah. So then what about the others who don't have this eka vyavasayatmika buddhi? They have a bahushakha anantaha buddhayaha. Yeah. The Swamiji would say, if the end is not clear to us, the end of all the ends, then the ends will be endless. If the end, the happy end, what is the happy end? Moksha prapti. If the happy end or the goal of life is not clear, then the ends will be endless. So the mind will be constantly thinking about ways to enjoy bhoga, aishwaryam, how to invest the wealth, and how to enjoy pleasure, power, and travel here and there. So one will simply go round and round in the sorry go round samsara chakram. Even go to Swarga and then return. Yeah. So Krishna has criticized such people, yeah, who are Swargaparaha and who are just chasing the finite goals in life and settling for these, karmic karmas and their fruits. And they take janma again and return to the samsara. Whereas the karma yogi experiences the freedom from the pressure of the ragadvesha, and he is very calm and content and proceeds to the goal of moksha. Yeah. So this is how we have seen so far. Now let us take up the 47th shloka again. So it's a very important shloka, and where Krishna is talking about the Buddhi Yoga. Karmanye vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala hetur bhuhu ma te sangaha astu akarmani. So karmani eva adhikaraha te ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala hetuhu bhuhu ma te sangaha astu akarmani. So Krishna is saying here that karmani eva adhikarahati, which means you have a right, you have freedom, you have a choice only with regard to action. No? You are free to perform an action or not perform it or do it differently. It's called kartum shakyam, akartum shakyam, anyatha va kartum shakyam. But once the action is performed, then can I determine the results? It is not in my hands anymore. Who will determine the result then? It is in the hands of that cosmic order, Karmapala Data, Ishvaraha, who takes into account so many hidden factors. My own Prarabdha karma can block the result and modify it. Then there are group karmas, family karma, national karma, the weather, the time, the shraddha with which I perform the karma. So many factors are taken into account to shape the result when it finally comes. So, Krishna says, Ma phaleshu kadachana. No, you don't have a choice with regard to the phala. Now, why do we do karma then at all? We do karma to fulfill desires, and desires are motivated by raga dvesha. True. So, behind every desire, there is raga dvesha. There will be some expectation. But Krishna wants us to understand this point that there are many hidden variables over which we have no control. The phalam will come, but in what form and when is anybody's guess. Like a cricket match. What happens until the last over, the last ball? Sometimes it can go to either side. Millions of fans are praying, that adds to the punya karma, and the team wins or loses. Yeah. The farmer sows the seeds. But what about the weather? What about the sunshine? And pests may suddenly come in and destroy the crop. So the farmer's responsibility is to ensure the seed planting and taking care of the field, building a fence and all that. But then later on, who makes the soil fertile? The sunshine. And how the moonshine invigorates the soil and the rains have to come and then there is a good harvest. So is it not the grace and prasada of Ishvara? So Ishvara is the karma phala hetuhu. So the second line says, Ma karma phala hetuhu bhuhu. You don't be the author of phalam, Arjuna, but you be only the karma hetuhu. Yeah? You have to act, do what is to be done. And the last quarter is Mate asangaha, Mate sangaha astu akarmani. Double negative. Yeah. So inaction in akarma, don't have sangaha. That is, don't be attached to inaction. In other words, be active. Yeah, be active and put in the proper effort. But at the same time, one has to let go when it comes to the results. No? Now, here I'm reminded of a very beautiful story which inspired me. The story of our ex-president, late President Abdul Kalam of Bharat. And you all know, so he's such a youth icon for us. But in his younger days, his dream was to become a Indian Air Force pilot. Yeah. And he would say that you have to dream before dreams come true. But not all dreams come true. And he narrated his own story and how he had to appear for an interview in Dehradun for the pilot position. But he did not clear the interview. Yeah. And he was very disappointed. And Dehradun is close to Rishikesh. So he goes to Rishikesh and has a dip in the Ganga and goes to Divine Life Insurance, Insurance Ashram of Swami Shivananda and has darshan of the great Swami Shivananda, who smiles and comforts him and says that this is not a failure. You are not destined to become a pilot. What you are destined for is not revealed now, but definitely that's going to happen. So this is a stepping stone. Yeah. So just surrender to Ishvara and you will, find your destiny soon. And so, later on, cleared another interview and he became the, space missile man, conducted many space programs. Yeah. So this is the role of, destiny. So life is a combination of Purushartha and Prarabdha. Yeah. So sometimes when we feel stuck in a situation, yeah, like a wall, then we are not able to proceed. That's destiny. Yeah. Now, I don't have to accept everything as prasada. Yeah. If you can change anything, you can change it. Yeah. Deliberating about the change. But if we cannot change the situation, then we accept it as prasada. But we have to put the right effort in the right direction. Yeah. Proper karma with the proper attitude. So that's why it said, prepare for the best, but be ready for the worst. Yeah. And so, in that case, we are fully insulated by this knowledge. So, this is in brief the Buddhi Yoga. But now, Sri Krishna is praising Karma Yoga to generate an interest in Arjuna. But now Krishna is going to define what is Karma Yoga in the next shloka. Very important again. These are all key verses of the Bhagavad Gita. The next shloka is Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva kar dhananjaya. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya. Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Can you see the definition in the last quarter? Samatvam yogaha uchyate. So, yogastaha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva he dhananjaya siddhi siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yogaha uchyate. So, addressing Arjuna as Dhananjaya, Krishna says, you be a yogastaha. Yogastaha kuru karmani. Yogastaha means the one who is rooted in yoga. What yoga? We have to connect to the previous shlokas. The Buddhi Yoga, Karma Yoga, the yoga of attitude. So Puja Swamiji loved this word, the yoga of bhavana. He would say Sanatana Dharma is all about bhavana. How do I feel, about a situation? That's why we call children prasada, Krishna prasad, Rama prasad. There is a bhavana of gratitude, bhavana of sharanagati and prasada buddhi. So here, yogastaha kuru karmani, O Dhananjaya, you perform all the karmas rooted in this attitude of karma yoga. Then sangam tyaktva he Dhananjaya, and give up the attachment. Sangha. Attachment to what? Attachment to raga dveshas. Attachment to my expectations. Attachment to the phala. This should happen to me. This should not happen to me. Yeah, the consequences, what are they going to be? So I'm ready to accept even failure. Yeah, but there is no clinging or craving or demanding that a certain result take place. Sangam tyaktva dhananjaya. And whether there is siddhi or asiddhi. Siddhi means success. Asiddhi is failure. Siddhya siddhyo samaha bhutva. This is the key word here. Samaha means same. You have the sameness of response. Now, karmas are all different. Karma phalans are also different and variable. So what is going to be same? Only my response. Yeah, that is meant here. Samaha bhutva siddhya siddhyoho. And that samatvam, the balance, the equanimity, internal equanimity is called yoga. So beautiful definition, number one. The two important definitions. This is the first one. Samatvam yogaha uchyate. Karma yoga is all about balance in life, is equanimity. Now, does it mean, that I become indifferent or I lose interest in life? Will I become a robo or a statue? These questions can come to the mind. What does samatvam really mean? So the answer is, it is a dynamic samatvam. Yeah, dynamic samatvam. So when there is a situation, I express an emotion appropriately. I'll be happy or sad or anxious or worried, but I do not let the emotion overpower me, overwhelm me. I bounce back to the center. Like it is said, jnanis, even jnanis' lives, things go wrong. They, are involved in accidents and fractures happen and all these health problems. But sukham dukham appears, but they do not become sukhi or dukhi. Yeah, they become a witness of their minds and they have mastered their emotions. Yeah. So I will not be unemotional or indifferent, to these situations. Yeah. There will be an appropriate response, but I do not come under the grip of that intense emotion. No. So when there is a happy situation, that also is prasada. I have to acknowledge the grace of Ishvara and I don't go overboard, ecstatic. And when there is an unfavorable situation, I have to accept it as prasada and I don't become too depressed by failures. Yeah, I can try again or I can give up the desire. So then the question is, should I give up all my desires? In the third chapter, we are going to see a lot of shlokas on desire management. Krishna is going to say, Kama esha krodha esha rajoguna samudbhavaha. The desires that are rajasic in nature. We want more, we crave more, we demand more. That is born of rajas. Yeah. And those desires are called binding desires. They bind me. So what should I do now? I should be able to do dosha darshanam and vichara, analyze. Can I convert the binding desires to non-binding? So what Krishna is telling here is we are free to have desires and expectations, but am I the master of desires or are they overpowering me? That means I should have an open mind when desires are fulfilled. Excellent. When they're not fulfilled, fine too. I'm happy to switch to some other situation, other job, other whatever activity and move on in life. So such a steady mind is really an emotionally stable person. And this is what Gita is going to give us. Emotional maturity, emotional intelligence, EQ. Yeah. So otherwise, what will happen? Bahushakha, hi anantaha cha buddhayaha. There will be a roller coaster life. Yeah, I will be tossed and turned and happy and sad moments, and it'll take away a lot of strength away from me. Yeah, do I want that? No. So the Karma Yogi values peace and freedom and contentment and practices this Buddhi Yoga. Okay. This is a very important shloka here, the first definition of yoga. योगस्तः कुरु कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा धनञ्जय सिद्ध्य सिद्ध्यो समो भूत्वा समत्वं योग उच्यते. 49. Now, what about those who are non-karma yogis? What is their fate? What does Krishna, say about them? 49 shloka. दूरेण ह्यवरं कर्म बुद्धियोगा धनञ्जय बुद्धौ शरणमन्विच्छ कृपणाः फलहेतवः. दूरेण हि अवरं कर्म बुद्धियोगात् हे धनञ्जय बुद्धौ शरणम् अन्विच्छ कृपणाः फलहेतवः. So now these are the karmis. Karmis are, earlier they were described as those who are very attached to the results and they perform actions motivated by the desire alone. They are strongly prompted by raga dveshas. So Krishna says here, Durena hi avarang karma. Avarang means inferior. Yeah. Such a karma where we only act to fulfill desires. Yeah, it is avaram. Avaram is inferior. Durena buddhi yoga. It is inferior, far removed. Durena than what? Buddhi yoga. That is clearly buddhi yoga or karma yoga is superior. because there is no loss, there is no fear, there is no abhikramanashaha, failure. Whereas if you pursue only karma for the sake of fruits, it is full of difficulties. That is the first line. Durena hi, indeed, avaram karma, buddhi yoga, he dhananjaya. So what to do? So Krishna again comes back to the point, buddhau sharanam anvicha. Take refuge in buddhi yoga. Yeah. Now the buddhi is, is the charioteer. I will do the chariot imagery in the next class. And if the body is a chariot, then who is the buddhi? Buddhi is a driver. So buddhi is the partha sarathi. So we have to take refuge in that higher, pure buddhi. So here it is, take refuge in the buddhi yoga or be a karma yogi. Then what? Again, kripanaha phalahetava. So these people who are motivated by only the desire for the phalam, they are called phalahetava here. Phalahetava means they consider themselves to be the architects of phalam. They think they can determine and ensure the phalam. Phalahetava. But Krishna says they are kripanaha. Now, kripanaha, you all know, means a miser. Yeah. And a miser is the one who has abundant wealth but will not spend it either on himself or on others. Yeah. So these phalahetavaha, or who are attached to the karmas and motivated by phalam alone, they are misers, because Krishna says, I have given the buddhi, the body, the mind to develop eka vyavasayatmika buddhi. But here the buddhi is devoted to such avaran karma, to fulfill desires for bhoga, aishwarya, swarga prapti. Is this, is this what the buddhi is to be used for? So they are kripanaha. Yeah, in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, there is a mantra which says, Yaha asmat lokat atmanam aviditva praiti saha kripanaha. So the Upanishad says, the one who, despite having a buddhi, departs from this loka, not having gained this knowledge of Atma, not having been a karma yogi and got this focused, one-pointed evenness of mind, is a kripanaha, because that buddhi was not well utilized. Yeah. So here Krishna is referring to phalahetavaha, the karmis, as those who are miserly by thought. And why are they miserly by thought? Because they don't recognize Ishvara's presence at all. They have a strong ahankara. So then they have not brought Ishvara into their life. Yeah, whereas the truth is, all that is here is Ishvara. I was born into the world. Sun, moon, resources, skill, food, nourishment, parents, school, teachers, everything is provided. And that is Ishvara as karma phala data. So the capacity to think, yeah, jnana shakti, ichha shakti, kriya shakti are all gifts of Ishvara. The body itself belongs to Ishvara. So then where is the question of, desiring this limited and finite karma phalam? So Krishna says such phalahetavaha, who are desiring bhoga and aishwarya are kripanaha. Yeah. And whereas the truth is that we are living in a mutually interdependent ecosystem, parasparam bhavayantaha. So I have to contribute to the larger cause in life. Durena hi avaram karma. Yeah. Now, when we compare the current modern lifestyle to maybe life 50 or 60 years ago, life of our parents or grandparents, what was the difference? Did they not live with this attitude of acceptance and balance and surrender to Ishvara? They did Sandhya, they would do the daily pujas, and stress was an unknown word. Well, today even children are talking about stress. Yeah. So that awareness of Ishvara, how Ishvara is everything. Ishvara determines everything. Ishvara is a karma phala data, and I do what is to be done. This was very much there in, just a few years, few decades ago. So that is what Krishna is saying here, that may one develop that inner balance and the contentment and the healthy detachment and bring more Ishvara into one's life. How does one bring more Ishvara in one's life? By understanding that Ishvara is already present. Yeah, this is why we do Bhumi Vandanam, Surya Vandanam, Nadi Vandanam, Jala Vandanam, and we have prayers for everything, recognizing Ishvara's role in everything. So what have I done? I am responsible only for one thing, that is ignorance. That is created by me. But everything else is set up by Ishvara. And hence, if I do not develop the Eka Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, that moksha is the goal, Karma Yoga is the means, then we are Kripanaha, Palahetavaha. So that is the shloka. दूरेण ह्यवरं कर्म बुद्धियोगात् धनञ्जय बुद्धौ शरणमन्विच्छ कृपणाः फलहेतवः. Now 50, we are going to see the second definition of Karma Yoga. Very important shloka again here. बुद्धियुक्तो जहातीह उभे सुकृत दुष्कृते बुद्धियुक्तो जहातीह उभे सुकृत दुष्कृते तस्मात् योगाय युज्यस्व योगः कर्मसु कौशलम् बुद्धि युक्तः जहाति. That's the verb. Iha, here. Ubhe sukrita dushkrite. Tasmat yogaya yujyasva yogaha karmasu kaushalam. So the last quarter here gives the second definition of Karma Yoga. What is Karma Yoga? Karmasu kaushalam. Now, Kaushalam is often translated as skill, yeah. But even a thief is very skillful, yeah. The terrorists, they're very skillful. Now, how they plan all these violence. So, a better translation for Kaushalam would be competence, or integrity, yeah. And here, what does Krishna say? Buddhi yuktaha jahati. Who is a buddhi yuktaha? It's a nominative. Buddhi yuktaha is the one who is endowed with the yoga buddhi, who is a karma yogi. And by the way, karma yogis are mumukshus, yeah, because they're clear about the goal. They want to ultimately arrive at moksha, destination. So they are preparing the path by being a karma yogi. See, Karma Yoga is the whole secret of intelligent living. So we are all different because, some of us are parents, some are grandparents, some are teachers, doctors, or politicians, or whatever situation, that is the Karma Phalam. Yeah. But all of us are Karma Yogis in the sense that we want the ultimate peace and by Jnanam. So pursuing Jnanam is, as a Karma Yogi, is the path, and Atma Jnanam is the goal. So there are really only two lifestyles. Yeah. Now, those who are sannyasis, like me, who have taken the ashrama sannyasa, then there are not many roles to play. Yeah. And we have the full leisure and the time to pursue knowledge. Yeah. But Krishna in the Gita is going to point out to the majority who are actively engaged in role playing, through their profession, through their priorities, and through their, as a parent and so on. So they can develop internal sannyasa. They have to become internal sannyasis. That is, even though engaged actively in the world, yeah, there is a mental sannyasa. Now, all that is going to follow in the later chapters. But here, Buddhi Yuktaha is the one who is a Karma Yogi. So, Buddhi Yuktaha Jahati. Jahati means gives up, renounces. Yeah. What does he renounce? Ubhe, both. Both Sukritam and Dushkritam. Now, Sukritam is Punyam, Punya Karma Phalam, and Dushkritam is Papa Karma Phalam. Both he gives up. Yeah. And then, so Krishna says, Tasmat Yogaya Yujyasva. So, Arjuna, you also be balanced. Be balanced and prepare for, this situation. Prepare to face this situation. Now, coming back to Sukritam and Dushkritam. So, we know that Sukritam will present a favorable situation, happy situation. Dushkritam will present some form of suffering. Why does this happen? Because Papa Punyam are the result of Adharma and Dharma, right? So, adharmic actions cause Papa and Dharmic causes Punyam. So, when it is mentioned here that the Karma Yogi gives up both, yeah, that means he or she has given up the desire for the phalam. And so he is purifying himself, purifying and steadying the mind to gain the knowledge of Atma, which is beyond both. Dharmat anyatra, adharmat anyatra. Nachiketa's question to Yama. I want to know that which is beyond Sukritam and Dushkritam, beyond Papa Punyam, beyond the hold of time and space. That is what is meant here. So the Karma Yogi will eventually also get the Atma Jnanam through this balanced, steady mind and go beyond both. No, is it not the samsara chakra all about Papa and Punyam? Yeah, when I go through suffering, Papa is debited from my account, and happy situation, Punyam is debited. Then I do fresh karma, fresh Papa Punyam, and the cycle keeps rotating. Yeah. But the Karma Yogi, like us, who are mumukshus, pursuing that knowledge, liberating knowledge, are on the route to be free from both Sukritam and Dushkritam, Punyam and Papa. In the very last chapter, you all know the Charama Shloka, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Raja, Aham Tva Sarvapapebhyaha Moksheshyami Mashachaha. Krishna says, I will, free you from both. Now, if the question comes, okay, I want to be free from Papa, but why should I be free from Punyam? Punyam is desirable, no? No. In Vedanta, Punyam is seen as a golden chain because even to experience Punya Karma Phalam, I have to take birth. And in the birth is not going to be all about Punyam. It will be Mishratam. Papa, Punyam both will be there and we will perpetuate the cycle of samsara. So that is the meaning here that this Karma Yogi, goes beyond both. Now, how does he go beyond both? Tasmat yogaya yujyasva. The very word yoga comes from yuj dhatu. The root means to unite. So, when there is the aikyam, jivatma, paramatma aikyam, yeah, that is the yogaya yujyasva. Now, the last quarter is interesting for us as the second definition of karma yoga. Yogaha karmasu kaushalam. So Kaushalam, I told you, is a better translation is discretion or competence, dakshata. Skill also we can add. So Yogaha Karmasu Kaushalam means in all the activities I perform with kushalata. That is being a kushala yogi. Okay. Now what is kushalata here? Is simply I pursue dharma. A strong foundation of dharma, and as a responsible, mature yogi, I take care of my actions. Did you notice the difference between the two definitions? The earlier definition of 48 shloka, Samatvam Yoga Uchyate, is balance with respect to response. Yeah. How am I going to face the karmic situation? How am I going to accept graciously the karma phalam with samatvam balance? But this shloka is talking with respect to actions. How am I going to act? How am I going to undertake any action in life? Karmasu kaushalam yoga. Yeah. With kushalata. With discretion. Yeah. That is why in the 18th chapter, Krishna is going to talk about the three kinds of karta, three kinds of karma. Who is a sattvic karta? What is sattvic karma? Rajasic and tamasic. If I constantly tell family members, how could you do this again? I've told you so many times and still you make the same mistake. There is no vak tapas. So, a karma yogi is careful how much to speak, what to speak, when to be quiet. So, follows dharma and there is proper communication and there is integrity. What I think is what I say, is what I do. Arjavam is there. So, all these factors, collectively is called kaushalam in this shloka. Yogaha karmasu kaushalam. Yeah. The honesty and everything. So, Buddhi Yuktaha here is a integrated person who conducts in a very mature and responsible manner in the world. And for such a mind can very quickly and effortlessly get the vision of the Gita or the goal of life. Okay? So let's chant the second definition of yoga again. बुद्धियुक्तो जहातीह उभे सुकृत दुष्कृते तस्मात् योगाय युज्यस्व योगः कर्मसु कौशलम्. The previous one. दूरेण ह्यवरं कर्म बुद्धियोगात् धनञ्जय बुद्धौ शरणमन्विच्छ कृपणाः फलहेतवः. And the first definition of yoga. योगस्तः कुरु कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा धनञ्जय सिद्ध्य सिद्ध्यो समो भूत्वा समत्वं योग उच्यते. And so Krishna repeatedly tells Arjuna Uttishta, yujyasva, yogaya, yuddhaya, yujyasva. And earlier on in one shloka, Krishna tells Arjuna, nirdvandvaha, niryogakshemaha, atmavan, bhava, nitya sattvastaha. You be rooted in sattva, you be a master of your, mental processes, mind and buddhi, and so on. And don't be worried about acquiring and preserving. And be free from the pairs of opposites. Nirdvandvaha. So today we saw these two definitions of yoga, samatvam yogaha uchyate. So just to summarize it again, let us see a couple of slides here. So karma yoga is really proper action with the proper attitude. We all know this. And there is an acronym for this, RIDE. And R stands for reduction of adharmic activities. Yeah, not going against the injunctions of the Veda. I is to increase dharma. So to act as per dharma. Then D is Ishwararpanam, dedication of all activities as a worship to God. And finally, E is to experience life situations, the karmic life situations as a prasada. And without judging, without being judgmental, yeah? With a non-reacting mind, yeah, non-reacting, non-judgmental, peaceful mind. It's a great accomplishment, yeah. It is said 90% of our troubles go away just by the shift of the cognitive attitude to be a karma yogi in life, yeah, going through the situations. And so you see how the Bhagavad Gita Upadesha is set in a historical context of the war. Yeah, war of the Mahabharata on Kurukshetra. But it is really symbolic of the internal war in the Kurukshetra of the mind. A student who fails the exam, or a parent struggling with a special child, or criticism by the parents, rejection by friends, losing a job, COVID situation. All of these are typical crisis, war-like situations. So Bhagavad Gita empowers everyone of any age, gender, culture. It's a universal scripture. Empowers them with Buddhi Yoga or Karma Yoga to be free from that mental turbulence and purify the impurities of the mind and be on the route to moksha prapti. Okay. We will conclude here. Om पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ